here's a fun question. Do y'all know the original title of the Black Eyed Peas hit song, Let's Get It Started?
Yep.
I sure didn't.
Yep.
You can't just call a song that.
That is one of the many, or not many, because there's only two that I know, but that is one of the two times where the radio edit made the song better than it was. Because that song, Let's Get It Started, is dope. But saying, let's get our word is not dope.
Also, that's not a phrase
bad.
anyone's ever said. That's not like a thing that people say, even at the time.
No.
Yeah.
It was really, like...
Jesus Christ.
There was someone who was trying to tell me, like, when I was younger and that song first came out, they're like, oh, this is... The actual name of the song is Let's Get Our Word, and... Like, they say that throughout the whole song, and I'm like, no,
I remember hearing that again, too.
No, they don't. I thought they were fucking trolling me.
When you're a kid, it's relatively common to take common songs or phrases and change the words to be edgy because you're, like, 8, or, like, what a 7-year-old thinks is edgy. You know what I mean? Like, Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, I thought people were doing that when they were saying that with the song.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Same.
That's, like... Oh, what the hell? Also, I went to Wikipedia, and I was expecting there to be, like, paragraphs upon paragraphs about, like, controversy, but there wasn't. It was just like, the song was called this. Later they made it into a single, and they changed it.
In my case, I was getting told this by edgy 19-year-olds, which... Like, you don't really lose the edge until you're in your mid to late 20s.
18-year-old, I'm assuming these were boys. 18, 19, 17-year-old edgy boys are pretty much the same as 8 or 9-year-old edgy boys.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie Webbin.
And today we will be playing chapters 10 through 12 of Cosmic Star Heroine, titled Accused, Old Enemies, and Ancient Power. But before we get to all of that, how was everyone's week?
So, I had a big week last week.
Yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, I can't. Something happened, right?
Yeah, I got married. Blah blah blah. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The big news is the Steven Universe movie.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, you're right.
God. It was so good.
I didn't watch it. I also haven't watched the last entire season.
It's great.
Say spoiler free.
In the way that most Steven Universe things are great, where it's like nothing happened, but the way that nothing happened was beautiful. It's like obviously something happened. But, like, it's one of those things where, like, you watch it and you're like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And you go to tell your wife about it, and you look at her and you're like, yeah, so, like, I don't know, they, like, had friendship and sang a couple songs. Just watch it. It's good. And it's great. I love that about that show, where it's, like, because it has such, like, deep lore and everything, but the way that they got to it took 52 episodes of season 1 to like have any lore really whatsoever. So it's like it's such a slow burn, like in its storytelling style, and it's great. And you like it really dials you into all the nuance of everything, because each episode you're only getting one thing. Like, oh well, like episode 1 you learn that Steven's mom is dead, and then by episode 5 you learn that Steven's mom gave her life so Steven could be born, and things like that. Like, you learn bit by bit by bit as you go through it. So then the movie can happen, and it's like, Pink Diamond was an asshole. And that's really all the lore we got out of the movie, but it doesn't matter. It was great. It was fantastic.
It was done really well.
And has that sequel series has yet to air, right? That's coming out in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, the
movie is the first of that
bridge to the next thing. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So that was really, really good. And I guess I'll talk about my wedding a bit. It was pretty great. We had it right on the beach, and it was super pretty. Sorry, my allergies are acting up.
Okay.
2 of my friends made it late because they went to the wrong Ocean Boulevard. In their defense, there's like a
the
million...
Boulevard of Broken Dreams instead of the Boulevard of Beautiful Marriages.
Yeah. In their defense, there's a lot of ocean boulevards in South Carolina, apparently. But they did make it for the picture taking and the dinner, and we had our sand ceremony, and when we were taking our sand through the airport, the TSA shook it up no less than twice.
Oh my god.
There are still some bands that you can see in it, but, like, they'd pick it up and go, "What is this?" and just turn it over. I'm like...
People know what a sand ceremony is. It's not an obscure thing.
Like, I get that you need to test the sand. That's fine. Can you not shake it up?
Just have the dog smell it to make sure it's not bomb.
Well, they used, like, some strip on it. They're like, "Oh, we gotta test this." I'm like, yeah, I know. Just open it up and take a little bit of the sand. You don't need to fucking shake it up, you dick.
That sucks.
Like, 2 people did this.
Dumb.
I'm gonna be angry about it for years. But
I mean, yeah, duh. You can't, like, do it again.
Right.
I mean, you could, but it would be fake.
yeah, it wouldn't be the same. Like, this is my precious memory from my wedding, and now it's...
But as a person who's been married for a long time now, the shit that went wrong this week is going to become inside jokes for you guys for forever. You're going to cherish your messed up sand, just like me and Summer cherish our fucked up cake that our friend Kim made us. That, like, we only could eat the tiniest outside because it wasn't even cooked in the middle.
Oh, no. You had someone from Nailed It make your cake, huh?
Pretty much. It was... But, like, she works at a professional bakery. She does this for a living. She rolls up with the shittiest fucking cake in history. And she also brought cupcakes. And we're like, okay, we'll do all the cake stuff with cupcakes. And the cupcakes weren't even done. And
oh my god.
It was just, like, horrible. But now we just laugh about it. And we just remember all the things going wrong as, like it happened on a TV show. Point.
Maybe that was my problem. Nothing went wrong with my wedding.
Yeah, see, great marriages are built off of...
to laugh about.
Great marriages are built off of shitty weddings. Like, that's how it goes. But I'm glad everything was beautiful with Eli.
Yeah, like, we walked down the aisle to the song Undertale from Undertale.
Nice.
It's
so beautiful.
It's
That's the guitar one, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
the one that plays when you're going through Asgore's house.
Yep, that makes me feel a lot of feelings.
Oh, yeah. And I couldn't hear it at first, and I'm like, are they playing the music that I chose? And then, like, as soon as I started to hear it, like, immediately tears came into my eyes.
Oh, it's so
nice.
Our sand ceremony song was Standing by VMV Nation.
Nice.
Our recessional was Everyone is Gay by A Great Big World. And our first dance was Love Like You by Rebecca Sugar.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, that one made Ken cry.
It's making me cry right now. So.
Aww. My dad took video of it, so hopefully we'll get some of those. He's been posting them on Facebook. So, yeah, that was my week.
Me and Maddie played a lot of indie games that made me realize that I should make an indie game. So I made a Twitter. It's at blazing_dynamo because there's a kid that's sitting on Blazing Dynamo on YouTube.
You didn't already have that?
I have it on itch. I don't have it on Twitter. But
oh, cool. I didn't realize that was new. When it followed me, I didn't realize it was new. Cool.
Yeah, I made it this week, and so that's where I'm going to put devlogs. So if you want to watch me make a JRPG, that's where you can do it.
Hell yeah, bitch.
And I want all of you to, like, every screenshot Saturday at me and say, hey, Sam, where's your screenshot for the week to make me feel bad so that I actually do it.
Will do.
But
I'll have to make you feel bad.
Yeah, that's
your... you mean to actually help you. I forgot about that part.
Yeah. What about you, Maddie? How is your week?
My week was fine. A lot went on. I went on a date. It was fun. But the Nintendo Direct happened, which was very, very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of sweet-ass announcements. And the main thing, though... Well, not the main thing. A lot of things happened. My life is going in a cool direction. My schedule emptied out a little bit, so I'm going to finally start having my mornings free. So I'm going to start working. I actually have already started working on some exciting new projects.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue working on them. I'm hoping to have an important milestone by Saturday. In fact, I'll probably have something to share in our little Creations Corner Discord probably by Saturday.
Sweet.
Hopefully. But yesterday morning, aka the night before that, Sunday night at midnight, when I was planning on doing all these important things and getting shit done and actually having plans about how to allocate my time, my life was completely and utterly ruined when Matt fucking asshole Thorson of Dick Jerk-ass Pretty Okay Games released the fucking new DLC for Celeste, which is really, really fucking good, and it completely derailed my plans because I've played it. It was in the first 24 hours. It was after it came out. I probably played it for about 4 hours,
Nice.
Which is literally one sixth of that amount of time.
Yeah.
It's really great, and I that's what I've been doing instead of the things I was supposed to do. So it's like in classic Celeste fashion. Every couple screens, I literally utter out loud the phrase, "I can't believe they're expecting this of me." And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, never mind, I got it. It's great. It's great. It's very, very lengthy, and I can't wait to get back to it. I think I'm close to being towards the end, though. I just blasted through that thing, ate that thing like eating an entire cake all in one sitting.
Like Sam's wedding cake?
Exactly.
Except,
unlike Sam's wedding cake, it's delicious and well put together and not uncooked in the center.
yes. So is it like Bernie's birthday cake, where you only eat 10% of it, then share the 90% of it with all the party guests?
That was so stupid. That's so fucking stupid. Oh yeah, I did a lot of political shit. I did like 6 hours of canvassing on Saturday, which was nice.
Nice.
And was on a committee, which are always actually a subcommittee technically. Anyway, that's me.
Oh, speaking of Bernie, just real quick, one of my closest friends, who came to our wedding, she and her husband actually sat 2 rows in front of Bernie Sanders at the airport.
Wow. Oh my god.
And after they got off the plane, they got a selfie with him.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Jealous.
So, I just thought that was cool to share.
Happy birthday to a real one. No, it's 2 days ago.
And I probably won't get around to editing this for 3 or 4 days, so...
Sweet.
It's hella old.
Oh, yeah. There you go, whatever. It still counts. He'll still hear it.
Yeah. Because we know he listens.
Yes.
We know you're out there, Bernie.
He's our biggest fan.
Yeah. But, so let's listen to some awesome music by Hyperduck Soundworks and get started talking about this dang old video game.
Yeah, bench.
Let's flash back for a second to about Thursday night when my good friend Madeline said, "Hey, who's doing the notes? I'm about to play tonight, so I can do it if you need me to." And I said, "Don't worry, it's my turn." So here we are today, and I don't have any notes. So
that's fine. I have good notes and a bitch ton of screenshots.
Awesome. So you can take it away.
So when we last left our heroes, we were heading off to Nulup in order to find another investigate some mysterious disappearances, and also maybe find another of the weird device thingies or something. I forget what they're called. Anyway, so we get the heck there, and the second we walk into the town, a bunch of shenanigans happens. The mayor shows up, and he's like, "Yo, what's up?" And everyone in this town kind of looks weird. This is kind of like, it looks like Elf Town. They look like fucking elves. Y'all know how I feel about elves. Yeah. So Elf Mayor with his top hat looking out, and he's actually really cute, comes up and he says, like everyone in this game, he's like, "Oh, you're that agent," and you're like, "No, I'm not." And he's like, "No, it's chill. It's chill. We're good. We like you. You're good." And you're like, "Oh, okay." He says one very important phrase here. He goes, "We heard reports of your death, but you'll come to find that New Lupians can be skeptical about the permanence of death." And I'm like, all right, that's a weird thing to say. Anyway, he says, "Hey, you're an agent. We heard of what you did. You'll be very helpful. Come with me." So you go to the conference room to talk with the mayor. He's probably going to give you your next quest, right? And he's saying, "Yeah, we've had lots of mysterious disappearances here too. Please help us investigate." Hold on. He's like, "Oh, I'm so excited for you to come help us investigate, and I'm sure that nothing bad will happen to me or anyone else in this room. Now, hold on a second while I take a long sip of this tea." And then he immediately falls over dead.
It's actually plot important that it's lemonade.
Yes.
That's true. It is. Yes, good point. It is lemonade. Yes. I actually forgot that, and then later when they said lemonade, I was like, "What?" Yeah. So he falls over dead, and of course you get arrested. And also they're like, "Take him to the pre-death chamber," and I'm like, "What? That's a weird thing to say." So later you find out that he's gonna come back, because in this world it turns out people come back. I'll explain that in a second. But we're still on trial for murder. So the way things work in this here town is we're on trial, so we can't leave the town, but we are otherwise free to go about. So there's no absurd cash bail, because this country is better than America. So we get to go around the town, and we have to find ourselves some defense. We got to find a damn ass defense attorney. So we go around the town, and this is, I think, a good place to talk about where we learn. This is a big town. Lots of people, lots of interesting stuff. It's actually pretty damn cool. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful graphics. The whole planet's gorgeous. We learn a little bit about these people. Turns out what happens is they're like elves, but also tech elves, but also Orson Welles.
Yeah. Orson Welles.
They're very in touch with like spirituality and all that kind of stuff, like elves tend to be and shit. And what it means is they can harness astral energy for various shit. And one thing that they do is when you die, they basically grab your soul real fast before it escapes and suck it up into a little Ghostbusters jar, and then they put that jar on top of a suit, and now you live as a head in a jar, like the head of Richard Nixon, and you apparently live maybe forever in they call it your second life, and except there's a lot less weird furry sex. Yeah.
Well, we don't know that. So, they don't really go into detail about that. There could be half the people equally as much weird furry sex.
That's true. So half the people in this town are regular, and the other half are post-death in their second lives. And it's actually cool world building. They all talk a lot about that. People will say "Oh, for this life, I can't wait to I hope I get to do this during my first life," or whatever. Yeah. And you get the sense that there's just like in real life, we have life goalposts that we progress through that are kind of expected by society. That's kind of how their life and second life sort of thing works. There are a lot of cultural mores associated with them. It's quite interesting. Anyway, so we're exploring, and we go into I forget what building. Let's just call it the saloon, because even though this place isn't Western, it kind of gives a feeling like a Western anyway. Yeah. And you meet our new best friend, our new party character. His name is Orson, and there's a reason he's called that.
So we don't go to the saloon. We literally walk into his office because he's a private eye, and So how I found him is I looked on I talked to this guy, and he's like, "Do you need a lawyer?" Tough. I only need defend New Lupians. Yeah, but there's private investigators you might be able to find info about.
Right.
On the terminal.
The saloon is where you get the hint to go to his office. You're right.
And so
I was remembering the saloon in my head, but you actually go there later. Yeah, so you go to his office and he's like, "What's up? I'm a private eye, but also part-time defense attorney. My name's Orson. I'm a head in a jar. I look like a Jabba the Hutt, but inside of a jar with a cool gun." Yeah, and that's it.
And he kicks total ass in battle.
Yes, he's really, really, really good. What are his moves?
He has like a gravity move that
he has
when he's hyper
double damage against ghosts.
Yeah.
So my favorite one of his is the one Eli was talking about. It's it is a non-elemental magic attack that doubles in power if he's hyper. He also has a self buff to double his next attack, and he also has a couple of just regular buffs. So if Alyssa uses her buff, and then Saibi uses the item buff, and then he uses the double my attack buff, and then on the next turn Alyssa does vulnerable on the bad guy, and then he goes hyper and uses his hyper move for double damage on buff damage. He's badass. I love him so much.
Yep, he's cool as hell. Oh, that's right. I remember what his gimmick is now. His gimmick is that he has a bunch of different elements.
Yeah.
Unlike most of your characters, which just have one or two, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
He has a number of different elemental attacks. Not every single one, but he definitely has fire and lightning and earth. He doesn't have ice. That's very important, actually.
He does have ice. He does not have earth. I needed him to have earth. And he has ice.
I must have missed the ice one.
He also has wind. He has a wind and fire and a wind and ice.
So you might notice so he has wind, he has fire, he has lightning. I guess he has ice. Maybe I didn't notice that or something. Anyway, but then he also has a move that reverses the elements of his moves. Which is cool. So you could have earth if you use the wind with the reverse buff.
Yeah.
So we're on our investigation. And like I said, you go around, you do some stuff. You investigate his... you have a little bit of pixel hunting here. I got stuck at one point because I thought I'd talk to everything, and I just couldn't find the one more thing I needed to talk to. Although, once I found out what it was, I felt a little bit silly because it was the lemonade in the mug. Obviously, I should click on that. We're investigating here. It took me a fucking while.
Mine was a tricky text box. Like, it paused on a ... or something. And so I thought it was the end. So I hit A right as the rest of it showed up, and I cleared it and completed it. And I was like, all right, we're done here, ... And I clicked it, and then what disappeared was, so now we need to go and plug in the VCR back at Tech Lab. And I'm just like, gone. And I'm like, okay, that was the end? What do I do? And so I
hate when that happens.
I had no idea where to go. And then you talk to him. You talk to him again, or you use your insight, and Alyssa's insight didn't update at all for this quest, and it sucked.
So anyway, so you go around and you do a bunch of investigation, and you find some weird things like the lemonade. There's something special about it, and then you find out later that there was also this stuff called like Nightwing or something like that. You know, some kind of herb or whatever the fuck. And then so you find that out from a couple of different clues. And then you find out that like the waiter was acting suspicious, and then it turns out that Lemonade and Nightwing are both like fine normally, but if you put the two of them together, they cause a chemical reaction. Yes, exactly. It causes a chemical reaction that makes a New Lupian's head do what the Mentos does when you put it in Diet Coke. So now we figured out, okay, he definitely died by drinking this stuff. Then you go and investigate some more, and you go to New Burger. Everyone in this whole damn town is obsessed with New Burgers, so you go out there and they're like, yo, welcome to the New Burger, home of the New Burger, can't take your order. And you ask for a New Burger with nothing on it, and they just give you 2 patties, and everyone has a big laugh. And it's 1999 or something. Anyway, I honestly forget everything that happens here, but long story short, you find out that he was poisoned, and you definitely know who done it. You definitely know that it was this mysterious person who is from API, who arrived just before you did and showed up and talked to the mayor, this mysterious visitor from API, talked to the mayor, and then I think also we have proof of them tampering with the food, and then he dies shortly after. So there you go.
So what I saw happen, looking at it, and I'm backed up by the twist we're about to talk about, but it didn't turn out that way in game, is somebody was like, yeah, the girl that was hanging all over him or whatever had a visor. And I was thinking that it was Already or Arietti or Arit or whatever the fuck her name is. I thought it was going to be her and she was going to backstab us. And then it turned out to be what's-her-face, the sniper, that doesn't even wear a visor. Echo. And she doesn't even wear a visor. So it was just a weird, like, sprite doesn't match up with the reality of what they're doing or whatever. But
that's
then
strange.
The twist in the next chapter is about Arietti, and I'm like, okay, well now I don't know what to, like when you get the security tape, you go and you watch it, and it's clearly Echo. Like she's not even wearing a visor in the thing, so it just.
I didn't remember anyone mentioning her visor.
Maybe the line about the person with the visor actually was talking about Arietti, and you just got it was a slightly different from when they were referencing the actual person who did it.
Yeah, maybe so.
You know what I mean? Maybe they were like talking about Arietti for a second. I mean, whatever.
Who knows?
At any rate, yeah, you figure out that API done it, and you're pretty sure that Echo done it. The API assassin who has been teased as someone who's going to join our party for ages because she had an intro cutscene and has a character portrait, and everyone joins your party in this game.
Except I got the achievement for unlocking every character when Orson joined the party. So she is just a named...
Yeah, no, it's a total, like, it threw me off. So anyway,
I was about to say what it reminded me of from the game this game reminds me a lot about, but I'm not going to say any more than that. But Maddie, you know what I was thinking.
Do I?
You know what game this game tries to be about?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I thought that was about to happen, and it didn't. I got the achievement.
Yep. There's some other interesting references to that coming up soon. Anyway, so you figured it out. You cleared your name. You're all good. They let you go. It's a little bit anticlimactic, but there's still a problem because there's here be assassins. And there's also still disappearances. So we decided to go to the nearby waterfall.
Except you get out there and because he's like, oh, it's past the waterfall, you can't miss it. There's 3 waterfalls. Thankfully, there's a really, really good NPC to join your party behind one of them. So I didn't mind that it was bad directions because the bad directions got me a lucky egg. That's his NPC power is doubling your experience. So he's great. He's my friend. And then I eventually found the correct one.
So, at any rate, we go to the waterfall, and there's also a couple other optional dungeons here with lots of great equipment for everybody. So anyway, we go through the goddamn dungeon, and it's a pretty lengthy waterfall dungeon. And while we're there, the characters keep talking about how this is such a beautiful town. Orson really blossoms as a character. He's like actually a big sweetie. Even though he has a badass exterior, he keeps talking about how beautiful his planet is and how much he loves it. And he's like sad that we're having to like kill the monsters. And like sad about all the things that API is doing to destroy he's like I think he's just something like he's just like, yeah, like maybe the real monsters is us for killing the monsters. And then one of your characters is like, Dave, I think, is like, okay, but like they literally tried to kill us, and he's just kind of like, whatever. still sucks. Y'all are not from this planet, so y'all aren't as important. At some point, though, you meet what's his dick? The cool guy from earlier, the cool bounty hunter.
He's looking or something.
Yeah, he's looking off away from you with his cape blowing in the breeze, and he pretty much just talked to him, and he's like, "Cool, I'll join your party now." Because he's going for the bounty, and you're going for the bounty, so he joins your party, and it's all cool. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah, Six Order is still great.
He's good as bazonkers. He's got a move that is just hella damage but doesn't gain you any style, and if you use that after you've already got good style, yeah boy.
Yeah.
Yo, boy. So speaking of style, I finally realized what burst does. Do you know what burst does?
No. Yes, I looked it up last week and finally figured it out. But Sam, please explain it because I wish I'd looked it up earlier. It's in a menu, but you have to go through these fucking menus. It's stupid.
Yeah. So what burst does is it spins your style to oomph your moves, and so I saw because Alyssa, she's had her single shot water, and then she's had attack all water, and then she got an attack all water that did less attack but was burst later, and I'm like, why would I want this? And so I used equipped it and used it in battle, and I saw her style go from like 120 down to 0, and it did hella damage. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah, all this stuff is in the menu. If you go to system and then tutorials, the thing is, the reason I wouldn't have normally gone there is that the game gives you tutorials at the beginning of the game. And those tutorials, it's like, if you want to read this tutorial again, you can go in the system menu. Mm-hmm. So the system menu is just all the tutorials you already saw, but also some other ones.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, I already saw those tutorials. I don't need to go to the system menu. Turns out there's other tutorials. They should have said, check out the system menu for more tutorials. Mm-hmm. I've been making some good fucking use of burst. Turns out having style over 100% doesn't affect your damage unless you're doing burst.
Oh, that's cool. Go ahead, Eli.
I also feel like a game should be able to stand on its own without needing tutorials in it. Like, you all know how frustrated I get with tutorials, especially when they're like constant. And like, there's exceptions to that when the tutorials are well integrated into the game. You know, but a good game should be able to give you a tutorial just by you hopping in and playing it.
Or at least explaining it like on the fly in a great way. Like, because like Portal is probably the best tutorial ever because they just made half the game your tutorial.
I was gonna say, like, nearly all of the game is a tutorial, but it's good though.
Yeah, but then
because there's verisimilitude.
Yeah, but some games, like say, the first one that came to mind was The Incredible Machine. Like it's like most people haven't played it. It's an old DOS game, but it's the one that came to mind, so that's my example. It's a crazy complex, like, real-time, everything moving together thing, and the only way you can really learn what everything does is by having tooltips constantly, and you can just you can go over a thing and be like, oh, okay, this thing does blah blah blah, and because the first level let me just work with this one thing and I moused over it to get a tutorial by myself on my own volition, then it was fine. So if this game did a Danganronpa where you're looking over or a Final Fantasy Tactics on the PS1 does this as well. If you're looking over an item description and it says burst, that's in a different color. And in Final Fantasy Tactics, you would press select. In Danganronpa, you press triangle, and it'll tell you what the fuck that means. If it just had that, it would be like I wouldn't even mind that there was another whole, like, it didn't tell you at the beginning, like, because you don't really need it, because like the style. So Zaboid was talking on Reddit about this game, and he was like, when we made it, we thought everyone would care about style, and nobody cared about style. Everyone talks about how interesting Hyper is, and Hyper, now that we look at it, is the much cooler system. Why were we ever concerned with style? And so that, like, Burst is one of those things where it's like, hey, everybody, pay attention to this, but it doesn't matter. You just do your biggest move on your Super Saiyan turn, and you win the game, basically. But
I think that as a hard and fast rule, I don't know. I'm not in a tutorial. I think a lot of games, especially games by like darn it, you know, the guy who made Matsuno, like the guy who made like Final Fantasy Tactics, Vagrant Story, like. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, like, you know, I think there are certain games that are so complex where it's like, oh, they should have integrated this tutorial into the gameplay. Okay, how? Tell me.
And that's why the Final Fantasy Tactics, you just select at any time while the game is playing, and it'll pause and bring up a cursor, and you pull it over, and you get a tooltip for everything.
I don't mind having to read shit and figure it out myself, but you should at least make it easy and also make me know that I have to do that.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, what does that mean? Or having to go online. I don't want to have to go online. If I'm gonna have to fucking make a spreadsheet and read a bunch of charts for your game, put it in the game, or at least in the manual. I will say that. Say that because that feels like playing the game. Whereas if I'm going on GameFAQs, that's not playing the game. That's me looking at GameFAQs, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so this guy fucking rules. He's got some burst moves. It's why this is a relevant conversation. So we proceed through the dungeon. He's now in our team. Oh yeah, the game's had our party locked. Ever since party lock is in the game tonight. So now we're finally up to 4 characters, thank God. We go through the waterfall, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Eventually we get to the end. You exit the dungeon through the right side of the dungeon, and then on the world map you pop out on the left side of the waterfall, and I'm like, come on, people. I just made a big deal of crossing from the left side to the right side of this waterfall, and you're telling me it's not going to match up with the world map? Bitch.
Go ahead. So that dungeon has several exits, and then it does the thing where you can then walk over the dungeon in the real world if you need to skip it. So that's probably all that happened is you found a second exit, but since you completed the dungeon, you could just walk wherever.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, fine.
Sorry.
Well, that's still weird. The less weird. What's up?
Yeah.
Brief interjection about the stats again. So there's this thing called Cosmic Star Heroine wiki.
Yeah.
Physique affects your max HP, increases physical damage and physical defense. Only characters innate physique affects HP. Hackitude affects your tech damage and which programs you can use.
So it's intelligence.
Kind of.
Well,
because Spark affects you.
But it's just the fucking programs menu though. So that one section of moves, that's all it is. Interesting.
Cool. Okay.
Spark affects your magic damage, magic defense, and style bonus at the start of combat. And Cunning affects your ailment damage, ailment resistance, item effectiveness, and speed. So,
item effectiveness. I thought items were all static in their effectiveness.
No, because there are abilities that you get for various characters or on various shields that can boost.
Right. I mean, aside from that, though.
Oh, okay.
I thought, if you use this move, it's going to do 500 damage unless you have a boost.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But apparently, it's affected by what's the name of it again? Spark.
Cunning is the one that affects items. Spark is the magic one.
Just leave it regular stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Call it magic.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Go on about.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Physique should be strength. I think Spark should be either intelligence or magic attack. The one that does items, Hackitude, should just be called Tech. People understand what Tech means. Just have tech points. And then Cunning should be 3 stats. It should not be speed and items and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't mind it being 1, though it is strange. I would just call it speed.
Yeah.
And then just be like, oh yeah, speed also does other stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, it's strange.
Speaking about this fault of Cosmic Star Heroine reminds me to say the important thing. This week's playthrough of Cosmic Star Heroine was fucking fantastic. It didn't sell itself short with any quips. It didn't undermine what it was trying to do.
There were almost 0 dumb jokes.
When we got to the emotional gravitas, it actually had emotional gravitas. This part of the game fucking ruled. Make this for 40 hours, and I will pay $50 for it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, agreed. 100% agreed. So, anyway, we get to the next dungeon, which is a lab, and you're investigating it. You notice that it looks just like the lab on Romu. Saibi notices that there's a lot of dead Saibis around. That's weird. And so you're just investigating the mysterious lab. What's happening, right? What's the bad guys up to? And sure enough, we run into Echo. And Echo's like, you're still here, I can't beat you, you're tough. And then apparently what happened was one of the scientists, I'll just read what she says. She says, one of the scientists told him today, talking about Director Steele, they made a breakthrough, and the director just lost it. He killed everyone. Said he couldn't afford to let the secret get out. He even tried to kill me, but he wasn't quick enough, although I wish I had been a little quicker. Before he went psycho, he was ranting about the alien ship the API discovered in an asteroid. He said that the ship was the key to unlocking Lumina's true power, whatever that means. Yeah, and then, so, hold on, what do you do with her? That's it. I think she just runs off. She runs off. So she, once again, doesn't join the party, even though the director tried to kill her.
Yep.
Come on. You'd think she'd be like, okay, fine, he's bad, I'll join you. Nope, she's, with him to the end, apparently.
She has drank all of the Kool-Aid.
Apparently, yeah. So you proceed through the dungeon. Turns out that random thing where we went into, like, Dark Dimension Zone in the previous episode wasn't just a fluke. We run into another darkness given life, as Cybe says. So you fight this dark demon thing, whatever, it's just one of the battles. Then you get to the end of the dungeon, where you run through a hallway, and to your left and right are some lights, some like almost like lantern-esque green circular lights, and they light up one by one as you run through them, and then they lead to a big room which has a big circle of them with the bad guy in the middle. This is exactly what happens in Chrono Trigger when you fight Magus a third of the way through the game. It's a very, very, very famous part of that game. So they're sort of riffing on it here, which is really cute. I was like, I see what you're doing. I'm about to have a big boss battle, aren't I? Sure enough, it's Director Steele. He explains what his goddamn... Wait, how do I make this go away? There we go. He explains what his goddamn deal is. He's basically like, the Lumina device can heal the wounded mind. If you attach it to if you give it the correct input, he could turn a murderer into a philanthropist. But what if we could stop the murder from ever happening to begin with? Basically, he's saying, right now you have to, like, specifically use the device on a person to control them, but if we go to the mysterious asteroid, which has very amazing broadcastable capabilities, we can take over the whole galaxy and just do straight up like Blue Ending from Mass Effect, and control the bejesus out of everybody, and I'll be the ruler of everything, and no one will have any free will. Also, they've been experimenting this whole time here on Cybe's people. They've just been doing tons of experiments on them and killing a whole bunch of them. And also something with New Lupians, but I forget what. Oh, they've been liquidating the New Lupians for their astral energy, but then they've been experimenting on the Robobugs. So, anything else there? No, yeah, he says, crime will end, sin will cease, all will be peace, all will be still, and I will be in total control. And I'm like, that's something a normal person would say. Alyssa says, your evil ends now, quick, before he has a chance to summon help. And then you have a battle, and Alyssa was not lying. This battle, you definitely got to kill him quick before he summons help. It's a really fucking hard battle. At least it was for me. I know the two of y'all kicked his ass.
Yeah, I'm back on normal from my adventures in Weenie Hut Junior mode, and I still ignored his help because he only had like 10 or 15,000, and my homeboy Orson can kick his ass on like 2 of those setups. So I just ignored everybody else and set him up twice in one.
Eli, you beat him in 2 turns, right?
Yes. Well,
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So essentially, I figured out that Arete is great if you remove all her drone abilities and give her actual direct attacks.
This is the first one. Did you beat the first one in 2 turns too?
Oh no, not the first one.
Yet. Yeah,
okay,
Arete's the next one.
Sorry.
Maddie had her notes wrong. It's fine.
Oh, the other one you beat in 2 turns. Well, that one's even harder. Yeah. Nice. Badass.
I'll tell you all about it once we get there.
Yeah.
Yes, please do. I also learned how to make use of bursts and shit. This is a really tough battle for me. It took me 2 turns, but at one point I did do, sometime during this playthrough, I did 40,000 damage in 1 turn.
Nice.
It was actually, I'll tell you in case you want to try it, it was using, what's the one who does the dancing? Chani. It was, no, not Chani.
Lauren.
Who does the, Lauren. It was using Lauren, because Lauren has her drone thingies, songs.
Songs,
no, Saibi.
Yes.
No, Saibi has his songs.
Yeah.
Saibi has his songs, and there's a move that says, end your song to do massive damage.
I don't have that one yet.
Yeah. No, he comes with it. He comes stock.
The one I have is end your song to heal is the one that comes with it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he also has a massive damage one. Check your menu.
I might have it shoved in a menu somewhere.
So yeah, it's end your song for massive damage. It also might be burst. I can't remember. But yeah, if you use that and pump him up in every other kind of way, as we've been discussing, make sure you do vulnerable, make sure you're hyper, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he did 40 grand, which was fucking great. However, it's really hard to set that up in a boss battle. I often end up setting that up in like a random battle where it doesn't matter. And then in the boss battles, I'm just like chipping away doing like 1,000 or 2,000 each. Yeah. Anyway, he gets away. So cool. Okay, he flies away. You return to your spaceship. You reconvene. You find out that there is a big asteroid to go to. This is clearly the point of no return. The game even straight up says like make a backup save. It actually just says that in the text box.
Which
at this point you can...
I love is cool as it is when Goofy and Donald are like, well, gee, Sora, I feel like there's some energy here, and I don't know if we'll ever be able to come back. I also love where it's just like, make a backup save so you can do in-game bullshit.
Yeah, I don't mind breaking the fourth wall for something that important. It's like, look, you don't want me to miss the fact that I need to save my goddamn game here.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a bunch of loyalty missions you can do here. I did none of them. I tried Chani's, and it was stupid hard, so I didn't try any other ones.
Yeah, I found hers because it's here on New Loop, and someone's like, oh, this is a Gunmancy shrine. If you know Gunmancy, come back and you can learn the ultimate Gunmancy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yep.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Sorry, what?
Did you do any of the character side quests?
Oh, no. Why would I do side quests?
It's actually a shame, because I do like the game and wanted to do them, but it was like, I didn't have endless time. If they had been easier, I probably would have done all of them and would have had to play the game twice as much this week. But since they were so fucking hard, I was like, alright, I ain't doing them.
Yeah.
So we go to the asteroid. It's got very purple graphics. It's very apocalyptic. The bad guys are all real scary. A lot of them are ghosts. A lot of them are dark. A lot of them are whatever. At this point, the game starts making it very clear that something's happening with Areti. Why? Because it gives her all this amazing new equipment and abilities, and that's what a game does when someone's about to leave your party or betray you. When someone's about to have their big final moment, they typically get their best equipment. So, yeah, you find her best shield, which does bazonkers damage, and her best weapon, which I forget what its special ability is, but it's also bazonkers. Also, for some reason, also when you first leave, she's just like, I need to come with you on this mission, and you're like, why? And she's just like,
because I'm in a cutscene.
Reasons.
She literally doesn't give a good reason at all, so I'm just like, okay, she's coming with me because she's necessary for the whatever's gonna happen here, right? Yeah, you go through it, nothing happens in the entire thing, and then there's some really cool graphics, and then you get to steal... Actually, there is some incidental dialogue here and there, all of which was foreshadowing that Areti was probably going to betray your party. Yeah. I forget what it was, though. Anyway, you get to the boss, and you fight Steel again, except now he's in a robot. He's called Steel Prime. He has 80,000 hit points, or at least he did for me. I'm sure he had at least, 40 or 50,000 for y'all?
I think so.
Eli, what happened with this guy?
Okay, so this is the one where I killed it in 2 hits, because... So, I have something on Alyssa that lets her use Inspire for the entire party.
Yes, love it. Great move. It's an awesome move.
I've got my sunglasses, which give me style. I've got Dave with me, who has a buff button where he uses like a cheat code on a gamepad, and he can use that on a character.
That's cute.
And
what
so
does that do?
I haven't touched Dave in a while.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, it buffs their damage for a few turns, maybe something like that.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah, and then I have something. I had a shield on Aret, whatever her name is, Aerie. I had a shield on her that she could. Oh shoot! What did it do? Oh no, I didn't have that shield at that point. I was using the Cosmic shield on her. Yeah, but she had some sort of buff. Oh, that's right. She has an ability that the next program that she uses is doubled in strength.
Oh, yeah.
So I used that, and I spent all my time buffing her up in the first turn. Second turn, she went hyper, and I used the gravity one, and it did 35,000 damage. Yeah, and then...
That whips ass.
Yeah, for the next turn, for that turn, when Arit did damage, then I spent the rest of it buffing up Alyssa, and then she was able to get the killing blow on the next hit.
That's
Hell yeah.
beautiful.
It was wonderful.
So, talking about this boss fight just reminded me something. This game has a lot of what is my least favorite thing in RPGs, but it makes it work, and I need to give it props. The waste the turn to do double damage next turn is scientifically worse than just doing the same thing twice. And it's such a waste of a concept, and it's in basically every single RPG, including Dragon Quests. But here, because of Hyper, it works. And
it's actually very helpful.
Yeah. It's going to be better if I attack next turn for other reasons than if I attack this turn.
So let me do this as a pre-buff instead of I'm going to just be useless for a turn and not be able to do a thing. And it's real good.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the core elements of the Kingdom Battle system, and it actually fucking works.
Yeah.
I still tend to not want to do, literally do nothing this turn, just so you do more damage next turn, but buff for 30% for 3 turns? Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
that's just personal style.
Yeah, it's real good. And, it makes you feel really clever when you are okay, well, I have 4 turns to set up Orson. So first turn he's going to buff. Then he's going to do this weaker of his two attacks that'll still get off some pot shot damage. Then he's going to do a second buff, and so is going to buff, so that when he's hyper, he can do his double damage one.
Mm-hmm.
It's you feel super smart for plotting that out, which is it happens in every single battle.
Hell yeah.
Even if those battles are pointless trash mobs that don't take a long time to get through, and so it's super rewarding, but doesn't. So it makes you want to plan out all of those things, which is super rewarding to engage with the puzzle. But because they removed the MP of it all, it doesn't feel like a waste. In Persona, the best way to do it is going to be switching your main character's persona on each of his turns to take down every single person and do an all-out attack. But SP is so important in Persona that you can't do that if you're going for a boss run. So you just spam attack for everybody. But this one, it's no. Touch the battle. Enjoy the battle.
You love the battle.
Why is Sam Allman playing the battle? It's because he's in love.
He wants to make love to the battle. Yeah. No, I agree. It's very, very fucking tight. Also, pro tip, I don't know if y'all noticed this or not. Maybe y'all did, but try it anyway. Are y'all still using, what's her name, Alyssa's, Unite abilities?
I haven't used a single one yet.
So Unite abilities?
If you want one of the weapons you can give her, or shields or something, makes it where... Yeah, one of her shields that you get at some point in the game. I don't think it's missable, so if you missed it, you can go back and get it wherever it is.
I think it makes it where with the plots, and it's not sellable, so you should have
it. Gotcha. Anyway, one of the shields, it makes it where her programs, instead of being a specific set of programs like the shield, all of her programs are dual attacks with her teammates. So it depends on who's in your team. So if it's you and Chani, it's a water attack that hits all people for massive damage. If it's someone else, it's it heals everyone. Anyway, her one with Bounty Hunter Zorax guy, it's a burst for Zorak's guy, and it hits one enemy for stupid damage. So basically, all my characters now have something, whether it's a united... I think I have 2 united abilities with Alyssa that both use the other person's burst. And then Alyssa has a move that uses burst. And then the other party member that hasn't been mentioned by me yet also has burst. So all 4 of my party members have some kind of burst strat.
Nice.
So now for me, it's style, and then one by one just bam, 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 bam. Triggered those burst moves on their hypers. It's fun. It's fun. Yeah,
good.
Check out those Unite abilities. The problem is, because that's such a good strategy to have Alyssa use that shield, it's like, oh, well, I guess she's not allowed to have any other shields now.
Yeah.
Like, she's locked in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not changing out of this one thing. So, sorry, Alyssa, you don't get to have experimentation with any fun new abilities anymore. Anyway, you beat Steel, and he's like, I wanted to create a better world. Who knows what she wants? And... I'm
dot.
Yeah. And already goes, who knows what she wants indeed. And then she says, he was a fool, you know. You can't duplicate the Lumina device. And then she says, eternity is no mere ship, but a vessel of the gods. And Lumina is its heart. And I'm like, that sounds like something a normal person would say. I love how when these people are getting, what's it called in Mass Effect when your mind's fucked up?
Indoctrinated.
Yeah, I love how in this game, when people are indoctrinated, it also makes them talk like they're in a JRPG.
Yes.
Anytime someone starts talking about darkness and soul and eternity, you're like, oh, okay, you're a villain now. She says for all pawns in eternity's game, all to bring us to this point, eternity repaired, the heart returned. Now hand over the Lumina device. Oh, look, it turns out we did the thing where we brought the fucking thing to the bad guys again, because we're stupid.
Well, you see, Alyssa just has the most bitchin' cargo shorts, and she just has room for everything.
Actually, no, they get lost in her cargo shorts. She forgets that they're there. Yeah, it turns out Already was a researcher on Romu. She's the only survivor. She's a lot older than she appears. A bit of those drones that annoy Eli so much, turns out they're even more annoying. Turns out a bit of Lumina fused into her drone, which allows her to influence others. So, turns out that she formed Astria. Oh, look, it turns out that the rebel group that was fighting the bad government is also bad. That's never been done before. The whole thing with her building up the resistance was just her trying to build up power so she could do Eternity. Eternity is a giant ship. It's what we're currently on. It's this asteroid. The Lumina device is the necessary piece to fix Eternity. Alyssa says, Lumina's been manipulating you the whole time. Cybe will cure you. She says, Cybe did create a shield for the mind, which is pretty cool. She's like, yeah, Cybe can protect you from mind control, but he can't protect you from me fucking your shit. She does something. She makes it where all of the Lumina device, like, it's like got tech mumbo jumbo. It blows up, basically. And she escapes, and there's a cutscene where the Black Omen, the giant bad guy Eternity ship, wakes up, and the final dungeon shows up, and now you're back on the ship, and Dave said, we were being played for fools the whole time. And then everyone says, we're gonna be heroes, this is gonna be our final moment, yeah, let's all do it, friendship.
And back up our save again.
And that's it for the week.
Yeah.
Also, she specifically, in the big cutscene, the bad spaceship specifically blows the fuck out of the hive.
Yeah.
Which made me, was mad. I'm like, it's almost like in Avengers Infinity War, when, they specifically go to Wakanda just so that the bad guys can destroy the fuck out of Wakanda. And I'm like, what did Wakanda do to get involved in this? They don't deserve this. This is actually kind of making me mad at the filmmakers, because it's like these characters' stupid boneheaded decision because they want to save Vision. Literally one person, Vision, took the sacrifice of thousands and thousands of Wakandans specifically, which is like, oh yeah, the third world is always bearing the negative consequences of things that people in America do. You know what I mean?
So fun
I'm not saying
fact.
Wakanda's third world, of course, but it's the visuals gives that.
So fun fact: I've been watching too much Dragon Ball, and I was just like, well, they just thought that they could bring everybody back with the Dragon Balls, because that same thing happens a lot in Dragon Ball, where they're like,
that's true.
They're like, oh, we need to do blah blah blah, but won't that like destroy South City or whatever? They're like, yeah, but we can just wish everybody back with the Dragon Balls.
It seriously did annoy me legitimately so much. I'm just like, why can't New York get destroyed? Why does Wakanda have to get destroyed? This seems unfair to Wakanda. They didn't ask for this.
Wakanda exists on a green screen, and New York exists for real. So it's expensive to do it in New York.
Anyway, yeah. So they destroy the Hive specifically, which is sad. It's because the Hive also has broadcasting abilities, I guess.
Yeah. Because Cybe's whole thing was, I've made this personal-sized defending device, but we should be able to hook it up into the Hive. We just have to get the Hive working again. And then he got distracted with the JRPG to go back and do it. And now it was probably though. Actually, I just hand waved it as bad writing, but it actually probably was already. They're like, no, Cybe, come on, join the party. Let's go on an adventure real quick. You can get around to that later. Probably was nuance in this Cosmic Star Heroine video game. So
they did explain this. They did explain this thing when you're back in the boardroom after this big cutscene, where like the way they play it off, it seems like maybe Areti was like not consciously being evil and manipulative the whole time. She was more just like didn't know that she was secretly bad, and then once she got onto the asteroid, it like triggered her secret programming, which is, I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I think that probably makes it more contrived, but also less dumb, because, okay, I hate the whole, turns out that the good guy underground group was actually bad. I think that false equivalence is super annoying and, like, antithetical to actual, likely, like, having any kind of political message in your game. Not that this game had any kind of political message anyway, but, like, come on. Like, it is the most milquetoast, both sides are bad. I mean, it's not Bioshock Infinite, but, I hollered. I was just like, no, this is dumb. On the other hand, from the lore aspect of it, it was actually really cool and interesting. So, there you go.
And one thing that's cool is it's not that... So, it's kind of like... it's not saying that communism is bad or even that communists are bad, but that Stalin is bad. It's like she was doing bad things because when you get back to the ship, you're still with Estrella, and everybody's still like, yeah, let's go fucking kill her. It's not like we drank her Kool-Aid. She just was using us. And so it's like they still believe in their political
I mostly agree with you, except at that point you then team up with API.
You don't team up with API.
Yes, you do. API helps you blow a hole in the bad guy dungeon.
Oh, you didn't save at the right spot. Well, yeah, I haven't gotten there. We saved on the ship.
This all happens and then you're still on the ship.
I don't remember API.
Okay, I might be going ahead, but I'm pretty sure I'm not, because when I saved, I was still in chapter 12.
I don't know. I may have missed it, but
in case maybe we'll talk about it again next week. But it's like, how are we going to get to the bad guy's ship? Maybe we're going to have to jam the Yggdrasil into its cannon. Oh, and then API shows up and says, "We'll help."
Mm-hmm. But also, I wonder, since we killed Stalin for the API, I wonder how much of the API was the same thing, where they are for peace and intelligence, but the corruption went all the way up to steel.
Oh, I think that's what's implied. Absolutely, yeah. It's like, oh no, they were good totalitarian. Weird. It's like, it's a security state with an endless, globally spanning imperialist empire, but there's a Democrat in the White House.
Yeah.
So they're good now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah.
Anyway, now this week rules. It kicks ass. Let me hear all the interval moments.
Yeah. So we will beat the game next week, but right now let's listen to some more music, probably for the last time, because I don't know how I would do it. Probably don't know how I would do this in the live episode. I can't make it play over Twitch, so probably the last music we'll hear from the game.
We'll splice it into the actual recording version of the live version.
So I don't know when we'll do it. Yeah, let's listen to that. So, my memorable moments. Did you find Pandora's box?
What?
Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah, I just like it. Because it's like you open it and it's like, oh, the can of worms has been open for a long time, or some joke like that. I don't remember the exact. But it's just like, it dies in one hit, it's a really empty box, and then nothing happens because the world's already gone to shit and you're already in the final dungeon. And
oh, okay, yes. I know what you're talking about now.
I think past it. I think past Pandora's box is where you get that amazing shield. Actually,
Yeah, it is. I was not paying attention to what it was called. Or anything, or how much HP it had. I just remember, like, getting myself set up and then hitting it once with Alyssa and it died, and I was like, oh, well, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah, it has like 400 HP, which is nothing at this part of the game.
Nope.
But yeah, I really liked that part. I also liked the whole... Like, this one actually committed to being an NPC dungeon instead of, like, Chapter 7 that thought that the NPC dungeon wasn't enough, so it added on 3 chapters more worth of content. And so this, like, the Accused chapter is just no fights, just walking around and figuring out stuff like a gumshoe, and even though some of it wasn't clear and the insight didn't update enough, I still think, on the whole, it was a fun experience.
well, and the thing that you were figuring out was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of just rich people.
I want to share one that piggybacks off what you just said. Did y'all fight the trolls?
No.
The trolls?
There's an optional dungeon on Nulip. It's a little bitty cave, and when you go into the cave, all that's there is 3 trolls. Chief Troll, who is, and they're what you'd expect. They're big, they're having clubs, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The Chief Troll is big in yellow, and you go into battle immediately. The Chief Troll is big and yellow, and he's the daddy, and then there's 2 little buddies, and the Chief Troll has 180 HP, and the flavor text says, you feel over-leveled. The other troll is called Ancient Troll. He has 50 HP, and his description is powerless. And the other troll is an old troll, and he has 50 HP, and his text description is weak. At that point, I was like, we're just fighting 3 weak guys. I'm barging into these trolls' houses. I feel bad. I want to run away from the battle and then just talk to them or just leave. But then I remembered, you can't run from battles in this game. So I just had to kill them. Mm-hmm. And then you go behind them, and there's 3 treasure chests, and each of them has, like, 30 gold in it. There's just, like, no reason to kill these trolls or take their stuff, and I felt terrible, but I was like, I would have not done this if I had known to run away from battle. But then you go to the back of the cave, and there's a little mountain, and then there's a weird little gravestone/obelisk, and you talk to it, and it says, only the truest heroes can defeat the skeleton warrior. And then there's an optional boss, which is the Skeleton Warrior, and he's got 50 trillion billion bazillion HP, and he's another one of the game's big optionals mega bosses. So yeah,
cool.
Trolls. Turns out you shouldn't kill them, and also behind them there's an optional mega boss.
Nice. I may turn on Weenie Head Jr. and go and take down some optional bosses just for funsies.
Yeah, and then let us know what happens.
Because no way in hell can I beat them on a normal thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and grind forever. Like,
totally.
Cthulhu's just way too strong. So,
Eli, what are some of yours?
I don't have any. I mean, aside from the twist with Already.
Yeah, twist was really good.
Ariana Grande.
It worked out for me as a good twist because I figured out how to make her very useful.
Yeah.
And do a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, you're like, cool, Already's my favorite character. She can do so much damage, and then it's like, bye.
Yeah.
Because the twist, while I thought it was cool dramatically, I didn't care about it because Already was just that shitty drone girl. And even though I had finally got her to break 1,000 damage in this dungeon with her nuclear attack, she still used items to buff other party members most times. I really didn't care about her.
She's the reason that I got the overpowered achievement.
Yeah. And
Man, y'all are playing on versions of the game that have achievements. I'm so jealous.
Right. But yeah,
so it doesn't matter.
When Eli Eli decided to text us about how awesome Already is before he finished that cutscene, and so he was like, "Wow, this is great. She's so awesome. I'm going to use her for the rest of the game." And I'm like, "Wait, you just killed so and so?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Finish that cutscene," and he's like, "Well, darn it."
Yeah, god damn it. I have two memorable moments that are the same ones I've been having all along. Cleaning robots. One of the cleaning robots in New Loop says, "Zeep zop, I live for cleaning." And then another one says, "Bleep bloop, cleaning the streets."
I
love them. I love the cleaning robots. Also, I just want to say I know I've said this a million times, but Jesus bitch, this game's battle system. It's been stuck in my head for the last 24 hours.
Battle theme. You said this. You've made the same typo.
I don't know why I keep seeing that. The game's... I literally haven't played the game since Sunday night, and the battle theme has been looping in my head since then, I guess. It's just it's a good piece of music. It's a really, really good piece of music.
Yeah. It's so good. It might be my favorite song from the game. It's up there. At the very least.
There's a lot of good... The game has almost too much music, and I don't mean that in, like, a jokey way. I mean, honestly, like, if you only hear a great song one time, that all means you might actually have too many songs and should reuse them more, which is not a criticism that people usually make of video games, but sometimes I legitimately feel like you could repeat a song more. I wouldn't get tired of it.
Like, in... Legend of Dragoon, it famously only has like 30 songs, which is tiny for a 4-disc game, but it means that every time something sad happens, you hear the sad music. It gets you into it, and the sad song is so good. And
it's real good. Yeah.
Fucking Rose's theme just like kills me, and it's good. Love to hear it. Love to hear music.
I love to hear music.
Hot take, video game music is good.
Is this music? I love it.
Love it. It's music. It's good. But so the other important thing we need to do today before I get to go and
oh, son of a bitch,
look at my baby's genitals is so today our poll is officially closed and we are going to be playing Lost Odyssey. It was the underdog for a whole hot week, and I was sweating under the collar because I had already bought Lost Odyssey for me and Eli. And
you gotta not do that.
I know, but I was sweating under the collar. But then Ken voted for it, and Griffin voted for it, and Jim voted for it, and everybody came through for Lost Odyssey, and it ended up winning 5-2. So love to see it. So
congratulations, Lost Odyssey.
You deserve it. So
it's funny how everyone in our listenership has to band together to come through and help us get this thing that we need and help us avoid this horrible fate, as if we didn't construct the entire fate to begin with. It's right. Like, help, we need your help to get us out of this problem that we set up to be a problem for us to begin with.
Yeah.
Help.
It's like, so what you're saying is you made the podcast, yeah, and you set up the poll. Oh, yeah, that's right. And you pre-bought the game. And now you're letting people vote on it. Yeah. And they're voting for the wrong one, and that makes you sad? Yeah. Okay, well, the whole thing's your fault, Sam. Like, there were
Thank
so
you
many
all for saving us of the problem that is 100% our own problem.
Yeah. It's good. So we will be starting that in 2 weeks. We also will be hecka busy on our side for the next bunch of weeks. So if you want to donate dollars to our Ko-Fi to get, reward me for the time we'll be putting in, because we have Higurashi coming up in this next month. Then we're doing Halo Shortcast the month after that. Then we're doing Halloween the month after that. Then we're doing Halo Shortcast the month after that. Then we're doing Christmas the month after that. So it's bada bing, bada boom, bunch of double weeks. So
content.
Yeah, if you like content, boy, we got the podcast. But so to hype everyone up for Higurashi, because it's good and everyone should play it, and we're just playing the first chapter, so it's cheap and you should get in on that. So I have been looking at this manga at the library for forever, and just something about its graphic design was like rocking my world. Where like across the middle, it would have a big number, and across the top, it would be like it was the Umineko series number, and it had a small number that was always higher than the big number. And I'm like, this is some huge multi-volume epic that like spans a whole lot. And so it's like, oh, this is part 2 of the Frieza saga, but it's actually part 35 of the whole thing or whatever. And I was like, this looks so cool. Knew nothing about it. Just the spine graphic design always caught my eye. I'm like, I'm going to get that if I ever see number 1. So I found number 1 and I read it, and it's awesome. And turns out it's a adaptation of the second visual novel that Ryuki something, I forget his name right now, I don't have it with me. The guy that made Higurashi and Umineko. Umineko is his second one. And it starts off looking like it's going to be a high school anime about feelings, and then the witch shows up and kills all of the adults. So, don't know what like that is going to happen in Higurashi, but I bet it's probably the same. So we were all getting ready to cry about our feelings, but we'll probably cry in horror instead. So that's hype. And
look, man, as long as I'm crying,
yeah,
I don't care about why.
just got to get that good old cry. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be great. And since we have this game is super short, and we're only playing 1/13 of it this next week, probably going to play Higurashi, and it'll be spectacular. So if you want to play that with us, that is our next bonus game. If you want to play Lost Odyssey with us, it is on download for Xbox 360 or Xbox One for $25. You can find a disc for about $8 in most places. It surprisingly was an RPG on the Xbox 360 that sold a lot, so it's not expensive. Unlike Tales of Vesperia, which most people say is better, it did not sell as much, and very few people were selling it, so it is more expensive. But we're not playing that game. We're playing Lost Odyssey, so it's pretty cheap to find it. Hopefully your 360 hasn't red ringed on the shelf. But other than that, come and check us out. At our website is rpgbook.club. Shout out to the Ancient Omega, and I feel there was somebody else that joined this week besides Jim and Ancient Omega that I already mentioned. But yeah,
I think that was it.
Yeah, shout out to the new people that found us. They're awesome. And shout out to the old people who've been here for coming up on 2 years, like really soon, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Jesus Christ.
If you like to help us out and want to pay for .hack GU, which is our first longcast series, hit us up at profile.com/rpgbook.
Can I take one more second of everyone's time?
Go for it.
You mentioned the passage of time, and it made me think about the passage of time. I just want to take a second. So, Friday was a very big day for me. Turns out, I didn't share earlier because I didn't feel like it, but now I do feel like it. Friday was the 1-year anniversary of my spouse and me ending our relationship, my spouse breaking up with me. It has been an entire year, and it has been overall a good year. It was really, really rough. It was the worst ever time in my life. It was the worst fucking thing that ever happened. It's kind of funny. I went back and listened to some of those episodes thinking, oh, which episode did it happen? Turns out we skipped a couple weeks around that time, not because of me and my miserableness and my miserable life, but actually because of just, like, unrelated reasons, like tech bullshit or other people being gone, which is kind of funny. But anyway, it's been a whole year, and you, Sam, and Eli have just done such an amazing job of supporting me since then. And also, next month will be 1 year of my transition.
Yay!
And so it's been really long and tough, and I've been working through it. And y'all have been there for me, and y'all have just been really awesome. And you, listeners, everyone on the Discord, especially the OG fans, y'all have also been there for me. I haven't been sharing everything in my goddamn life on the Discord, but I've shared some. And and y'all have all just been a wonderful well of support. And I don't know, it would have been way, way, way harder to make it through all of this if it wasn't for the two of you and also this wonderful community that we have here. So just thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody. I'm in such a fantastically way better place than I was a year ago.
Because you're not having to play Xenogears this time.
Exactly. A year ago, I was playing Xenogears. Like, look how the times have changed, right? It turns out things do get better. But anyway, yeah, just wanted to get mushy for a second. Y'all are all great, and I love you very much, and I love our listeners, especially the OG ones. Matt, you're a real one. Essie, you're a real one. Jim, you just got here.
My bladder is about to burst.
Okay, we're done. Sorry, I had to. We're done.
Yeah.
Bye. See you next week. We're gonna kick the bad guys' ass. What some people don't know is that the LMFAO song Party Rockers in the House Tonight also originally used the R slur instead of rockers.
Wow.
That's a joke. Now I just want to imagine all the songs that I already don't like all the dumb dance party songs that I already don't like, all just have slurs in them originally, and they're all problematic and bad, and that's why I don't like them. Instead of for musical reasons.
That gives you justification.
Actually, Banjo-Kazooie doesn't have any bassoon in it. It all just is a sample of Grant Kirkhope saying the R slur.
That is really Wow, Grant Kirkhope, I trusted you. You said trans rights, and now I find out this. For shame. Anyway, that's a great thing to be talking about.
That one's so good that I have to put it at the end of the episode and not at the beginning because I don't want to turn people off of listening to the episode.